had this clump of bees up here, swarmed in a giant swarm earlier that I couldn't get to. And they've been out here for about 2 hours, and I was trying to catch them in a swarm trap, and now they finally flew, and I can hear the swarm, but I can't tell where they're going. I've got a swarm trap over here. That'd be wonderful if they were going in that, because I can hear them. I don't really see anything. There's my swarm trap over there on that tree, but doesn't look like they're going in that. They were going in and out of it earlier. Oh, they're all up there, see them? I mean, and I've got a swarm trap right here with a attractant in it, so I don't know what they're gonna do. They were swarmed a good 30 feet where I couldn't get to them, but now it looks like they're gonna move down, I'm guessing, and get up in another high tree, it appears. Oh wow, listen to them. Amazing. Maybe they are going in my trap. Oh, look at that. It'd be too cool. I put a attractant in there, and I guess the swarm just sits up there in a giant ball for about 2 hours while they send out all the scouts until they find something good. And this swarm trap's been over here for about 6 weeks with no activity. And I was literally over there screwing together a stand and heard this. For a minute I thought it was a tractor in the distance and looked around. This is amazing. I mean, I've seen swarms on Craigslist where people wanted to get them, or on TV, but I've never seen them actually come up and swarm in a clump. And they are going in my swarm. There are, man, there's a million bees over there. Look at that. Little doggy just sitting there oblivious. Oh wow, this is awesome. God, that thing ain't gonna be big enough. Sitting out here in shorts with no shirt on, but you don't really get a grasp of how many bees that is. I mean, that clump up there was probably about the size of a basketball, and it was around a limb, so you couldn't really tell. And you heard this, and then they landed, and then they were just quiet as a church mouse, and then they went around checking this out and checking. I've got a whole 10-frame hive sitting up there underneath the tree. It's sitting right there, a whole hive ready to go, but they sniffed around it and they must not have liked it. That was from like 2 years ago, so maybe the equipment wasn't clean or something. And this is the same equipment. This is the first box I ever built about 4 years ago when I thought I was going to get into beekeeping, and I did actually catch a swarm in it, and I put it in a hive and relocated it right over there where those bricks are, and that tree, that beautiful oak, fell on it during Matthew and fell right on my hive over there. And then I haven't really messed with it until I met this guy Matt, and he's gonna hook me up with some bees, and now I've got another hive, it appears, right here. Oh, I hope this battery lasts, because this is amazing. There's one hole about the size of a quarter that I drilled up at the top, and then there's a hole at the bottom, like a little slot about a ½ inch tall and 3 inches long. And I mean, they are just, I would walk up there, but I'm a little bit wary of a wild hive, and I don't even have a shirt on out here. But I mean, they are just pouring in that hole. I can just see them going in there. I don't know if this thing doesn't have a zoom on it, but I can see them just going in that thing. Unbelievable. Plus, I just bought this camera about 2 weeks ago off of Craigslist, and I've made like 2 piddly videos of me walking around. I did make a good one of Matt out at his awesome bee farm. That was the best subject matter I've had until this, so this pays for my camera right here, or makes it worthwhile rather. That has 5 frames in there that you would have in a regular beehive, so I'm sure they're spreading out in there, and the size of that clump was at least the size of a basketball, so if they do get all up in there, they're going to be packed. This is cool because I texted my parents and my brother and anybody I thought that would be interested. Now I got a video of it, and I can put it on YouTube and send it to them. Doggies don't have a care in the world, do you, Sandy? Good girl. It looks like the main swarm is kind of diminishing, or the cloud rather. I'm gonna walk up there in a minute, but I don't even have a shirt on because I was out here working around in my garden, but I'm pretty excited. Now they can go in those frames, which I looked at them about whenever I put the box up about 6 weeks ago. I'd scraped everything off that was, I had some wax moths on them, and I'd cleaned everything up really well and put it all in there. It looked pretty decent, so I'm sure that amount of bees can easily clean that stuff up in no time, and hopefully they'll be going and getting pollen and building it up. And I would imagine the queen is in there too, I hope. And then I'll be putting this in my box up there one day and then setting it out in my field. Looks like the cloud is aren't too many flying around. Most of them are up right there. There's got to be, God, I don't know how many went in there though, because they were just pouring in there. The 3 or 4 videos I've made with this thing, I can tell that all this is a little cheapo tripod that I'm holding in my hand. And if you walk around in it's so shaky, so I just ordered a cheapo gimbal off eBay a couple of days ago, one of those smooth Qs. It's about a quarter of the price of the high dollar ones, but it seemed to be decent, so I can't wait to get that, and we'll see how that works, because I can see I'm going to like this camera. This is a Hero 4 Silver. I saw somebody had it on Craigslist and had 2 batteries, the remote control, 3 or 4 stands, pretty much everything, $150. And the girl said her dad, 80-year-old dad, had gotten it and he didn't know how to use it. And when I got it, there were 3 videos of an 80-year-old guy looking into it saying, "Is it on? Is it on?" So anyway, it's pretty cool. A couple of bees landing on my arm there. Oh, look at the lizard going up. Can you see the lizard? That skink. I wonder if it would eat one. It's a red-headed skink climbing up the tree. I don't know if he just happened to be there. Oh, there he is. Look at that. He's right there. Look, he's going to eat a bee. Look at that. That's unbelievable. Oh. Look at that. He is on the hive. Unbelievable. I'm surprised they don't mess with him, because they're good at keeping pests out. He didn't even look like he ate one. Maybe he was in the box. I know this is a long video, but that's my dog back there hacking. But maybe I can learn how to cut some of this out. I don't really want to miss this, because I'd like to see if they all go in and calm down, because that's what they did when they landed in the tree. I heard that commotion, and then once they swarmed, nothing. But I guess that's when they're sending the scouts out, obviously. So I'll bet there's probably 5 or 8 pounds of bees in that box. Even though I got 3 batteries with this camera, I wasn't expecting to be filming anything, so I only had one in it with about half a charge, but I've gotten a good 20 or 30 minutes of this, so this is plenty adequate if it dies on me. A couple flying around. Surprised with these cameras they don't have some kind of image stabilization. Maybe the newer ones do, but I don't think this one does. I know I've said it 10 times in my other videos, but that was just so coincidental that I'm up there literally building that stand up there to put some bees on it that I bought, and I literally heard that swarm come in like that. just sitting there, heard that buzzing and just looked around, and here comes 10,000 bees to come land in a tree beside me. I mean, what are the odds? And they weren't coming to this, they were coming to the tree, and then the scouts came and found this, so that's pretty cool. That lizard's still just sitting on the side of that box. I guess he was probably in it. If you leave these swarm boxes out here, you put a little bit of lemongrass oil, and that's what the bees are attracted to. But if you leave them out here for a month and nothing gets in them, you'll get roaches in them, wasps will take them over, and I guess the lizard probably sits in there and takes advantage of that. I mean, the activity is definitely diminishing, so there, I would say there's, 90% of the bees are in there. Lizard sitting up there. Must not eat bees. There's one or two of those in my shop over there, and I'll catch a cricket out in the garden, and they'll just be sitting at the door, and you throw that thing on the ground, and they run out there and munch on it like a little miniature Komodo dragon or something. I had some little field mice in there about the size of your thumb, and when I would feed the dogs, I'd actually throw a piece of, I was going to kill them, and then I would throw a piece of dog food over there, and 2 or 3 of the little teeny ones would come out and eat it, and they'd been doing that for about a month. And I went in there the other day, and some of the dog food hadn't even been eaten, and they'll normally eat it immediately, so I imagine one of these black racers, black rat snakes out here went in there and found those.